what's up? My name is Mag. Welcome. Hi besties, what's up? My name is Meg. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are filming our May TBR, or May hopefuls. I know that's what like a lot of people in like the bookish community call them, is that they're hopefuls. Because I am 100% not going to force myself to read a book if I'm not feeling it. So I took the time a little while ago and I made up a little TBR jar. If you will see here, I have too much in my lap. So green slip of paper is from Kindle Unlimited. A pink slip of paper is where I have the book physically, but it's offered on Kindle Unlimited. And then lastly, we have a yellow slip of paper, which is just a physical book that is not offered on Kindle Unlimited. Today I am going to be picking, I want to say at least, because I really want to dwindle down how many books I have physically, we are going to be picking, I'm going to shake it all up, 2 physical books that aren't offered on Kindle Unlimited, 3 physical books that are offered on Kindle Unlimited, and then 4 books that are offered on just Kindle Unlimited, or like I just don't have the physical copy. So what is that? So 2 plus 3 plus 4. 9. Wow, I don't like that being an odd number. We're just gonna make it 10. So we are going to do 2 physical books, 4 physical books that are offered on Kindle Unlimited, and then 4 Kindle Unlimited books. Okay, so let's start off with physical books. The slip of paper that I have. Ooh, okay. The physical book that I have chosen is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. So I have that. Where do I have that? I have that right here. We are going to be reading, or we are going to have this as our May hopeful. Oh my goodness! I just dropped the entire jar. Does Penguin mean a classic? I'm gonna write on my Notion. So this is a Penguin classic. It is the story of 4 seekers who arrive at a notoriously unfriendly pile called Hill House. Dr. Montague, an occult scholar looking for solid evidence of a haunting. Theodora, the light-hearted assistant. Eleanor, a friendless, fragile young woman well acquainted with poltergeists. And Luke, the future heir of Hill House. At first, their stay seems destined to be merely a spooky encounter with inexplicable phenomena. But Hill House is gathering its powers and soon will choose one of them to make its own. So our next physical book, give it a real good shake, is, let's go for a thicker one. Now a thicker one might just be by just the title and then the authors. Okay, so the next book that I have is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Next one is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Wow, I'm actually very surprised that we got 2 like horror books for this. High school sophomores Abby and Gretchen have been best friends since 4th grade, but after an evening of skinny dipping goes disastrously. Oh my god. I swear I can read words. It's just whether or not I can read them aloud. But after an evening of skinny dipping goes disastrously wrong, Gretchen begins to act different. She's moody, she's irritable, and bizarre incidents keep happening whenever she is nearby. Abby's investigation leads her to some startling discoveries, and by the time their story reaches its terrifying conclusion, the fate of Abby and Gretchen will be determined by a single question: is their friendship powerful enough to beat the devil? It says it's like an unholy hybrid of Beaches and The Exorcist. My Best Friend's Exorcism blends teen angst, adolescent drama, unspeakable horrors, and a mix of 80s pop songs into a pulse-pounding supernatural thriller. That's our 2 picks from the Physical TBR that is not offered on Kindle Unlimited. To pick 4 physical books that are offered on Kindle Unlimited. And if some of these are series, I just put like the series and then I can determine where I'm at in that series. So if I pick a series and then I end up putting it back, that's just for the next book. Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, right here. This is a book that is offered on Kindle Unlimited, so whether or not I read it physically or on Kindle Unlimited, that's obviously up to me. Things have been wrong with Mr. and Mrs. Wright for a long time. Every anniversary, the couple exchange traditional gifts, and Adam's wife writes him a letter she never lets him read until now. Self-confessed workaholic Adam Wright has face blindness. He can't even recognize his own wife, and Amelia is sick of feeling unseen. When Adam and Amelia win a weekend away into Scotland, it might be just what their marriage needs. This weekend may make or break their marriage, but they didn't randomly win this trip. One of them is lying, and someone doesn't want them to live happily ever after. So our next one, we got so far a lot of like thrillers. I'm kind of hoping for some fantasy because like that's really what I've been reading a lot of lately. A Deal with the Elf King by Elsie Kova. I think it's this one. So I got my wish. I got a fantasy book. So A Deal with the Elf King by Elsie Kova, a married to magic novel. The elves come for 2 things, war and wives. In both cases, they come for death. 3,000 years ago, humans were hunted by powerful races with wild magic until the treaty was formed. Now, for centuries, the elves have taken a young woman from the Luella's village to be their human queen. To be chosen is seen as a mark of death by the townsfolk. A mark 19-year-old Luella is grateful to have escaped as a girl. Instead, she's dedicated her life to studying herbology and becoming the town's only healer. That is, until the Elf King unexpectedly arrives for her. Everything Luella had thought she'd known about her life and herself was a lie. Taken to a land filled with wild magic, Luella is forced to be the new queen to a cold yet blisteringly handsome Elf King. Once there, she learns about a dying world that only she can save. The magical land of Midscape pulls on one corner of her heart. Her home and people tug on another. But what will truly break her is a passion she never wanted. So that is A Deal with the Elf King. Next one. Here we go. Court of the Vampire Queen. That I have up there. Just so you know, A Court of the Vampire Queen is a combination of all 3 books in what is called the Bloodline Vampire series. All Mina ever wanted was to escape her father's control. Half human, half vampire, she lived eternally torn between worlds, never fully experiencing the pleasures of either, until her father chose her as a pawn in his latest political move, gifting her to the darkly powerful and dangerous seductive Malachi Zion. Malachi is not a vampire to be trifled with. He rules with an iron fist and has reputation for the darkest sins. But the longer Mina spends with him, the more she realizes he's not the monster she first thought. And as fear blends into lust, then trust, then something more, Malachi opens Mina up to a world she never knew could be hers for the taking, including the love of Malachi's 2 closest friends and companions. Now surrounded by all 3 men, the center of their shockingly seductive world, Mina may finally have the power to face down her father and take back the life and crown that by all rights should be hers. That is that. We're shaking. We're shaking. Okay. I need this one. Sanctuary of the Shadow. I don't know what that one actually looks like. Oh, okay. This, yes, I do know what this one is. Some follow their destinies, others fall for it. For humans, Salazar is a place of mystery and wonder. For Harrow, it's a place to hide from those who slaughtered her entire clan. A haven where she can disguise both her abilities and who she really is until he arrives. He has no recollection of who or even what he is. He only knows that he's a monster with wings and powerful abilities never seen before. before. But beneath the layers of rage and isolation, one glimpse into those inky black eyes reveals a soul that calls out to the loneliness in Haro. And she chooses him. She is drawn to the mystery of him, her unquenchable need for his kiss, and as powerful enemies align and conspire against them, Haro knows their only hope is escape. Now, with every secret she unlocks from his past, a shadow from her own whispers free, luring enemies who will stop at nothing to get their final revenge on Haro. And she's given them the perfect weapon, because her winged beast is not what he seems. But maybe it's time they finally learn neither is she. Ooh, I'm actually really excited to read this one. This one's been on my shelf for quite some time now, so I'm actually really excited to read this one. Hey! We are on to the last 4 for our May TBR, which is 4 green ones. I can't even pick a green one. I got like many green ones. There we go. A Bargain with the Fae King by Megan Van Dyke. And I don't know if I've said this or not yet, but because I am a mood reader, these are just like ideas or hopefuls for a TBR. Like, I don't necessarily think I would force myself to read any of these if I'm not in the mood for them. For Leah Ashmore, the only thing keeping her grief and guilt in check after an accident nearly killed her little sister, May, are her recurring dreams of Riven, a shadowed man who's become her confidant, a pleasant escape from the pain of reality. When May is taken by an animalistic dark fae, Leah journeys to Fairy, desperate to save her sister. There she comes face to face with 3 shocking truths. Riven is real, he's not human, and in fact, he's the king of the forest fae. They strike a bargain. He'll help her save May in exchange for what he wants, Leah as his consort. But saving her sister is not as easy as either expected, and a failed rescue attempt reignites an age-old conflict between fae courts. As her relationship with Riven blossoms, Leah becomes increasingly entangled in bitter rivalries and political power plays. In a world where no one can lie, but everyone has secrets, Leah will have to decide who to trust. The choice alone could cost her heart, but the wrong one may demand her life and her sister's. Haha. The Crowns of Nyaxia. So, where I'm at in this series is I have already read The Serpent and the Wings of Night and The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. So the next one that I will have to read is The Songbird of Heart and Stone. But The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk is not out yet, and I would really like for that to be out. So I think we are going to cheat, but really it's not cheating because I make the rules. So we are going to throw that one back in there for a later date. Watch as I pick it back up and then I get the same thing. That would be hilarious. God of Malice by Rena Kent. I have not read God of Malice yet. I put it in here as a singular one to determine whether or not it's a kind of book series that I would like to continue. So that is 2 down for Kindle Unlimited. I caught the attention of a monster. I didn't ask for it, didn't even see it coming, but the moment I do, it's too late. Killian Carson is a predator wrapped in sophisticated charm. He's cold-blooded, manipulative, and savage. The worst part is that no one sees his devil side. I do. And that will cost me everything. I run, but the thing about monsters, they always chase. Alright, next one. Here we go. What shall be the next of books? I want this one. Hey, get off. I accidentally cut this one, so it's Curse of Shadows and Thorns by L.J. Andrews. A rebellious princess, a cursed rogue, a forbidden love that will bring the kingdom to its knees. As niece of the king, Elise Lysander cares about 2 things: sneaking into gambling dens and avoiding an advantageous, how do you say this word? Advantageous, love that for me. Advantageous marriage at all costs. When her uncle holds the life of her deathly ill father over her head, reluctantly Elise puts her fate into the hands of Legion Grey, the handsome and mysterious dowry negotiator. He may be arrogant and infuriating, but soon Legion incites a blistering, forbidden passion she can't ignore. As their attraction grows, so do the dangers. Attacks from the black-eyed people, a cursed enemy who is more beast than man, and rumors of Fae returning for the crown they believe was stolen from them long ago. After a bloody coup upends the kingdom, Elise flees with Legion, but nothing is as it seems. The man she allowed into her heart reveals his own secret plans with the return of magic, and he has every intention of using Elise to see them through. With war between magic and mortal on the horizon, Elise must pick a side to protect her kingdom. Does she stand with the people who stole the throne, or with a man who lied his way into her heart, and whose secret past could bring her destruction? Ugh, I can't read. I swear I might be illiterate. Alright, last one. Do one last final shake. Okay, all yellow, all the green are towards the bottom. Okay, how funny would, because this is a thicker one, how funny would it be that I pick Crowns of Nyaxia again? I swear to God, I cannot make it up. Bro! Okay. We're gonna throw that back in, but I think we're gonna wait so I don't accidentally pick it again. Just because I want to wait for so that way I can read both of the duologies at once. My Dark Romeo by Parker S. Huntington. My fairy tale turned into a cautionary one, inked in tar and sealed in tears. It was supposed to be a harmless kiss at a lavish how do you pronounce this word?
Yeah, debutante.
Debutante. I'm not good with some words. I'm still illiterate. Debutante ball. A clandestine moment with a handsome stranger, but unlike his namesake, my Romeo isn't driven by love. He's fueled by rage. To him, I'm a chess piece, leverage, his rival's betrothed. To me, he is a man deserving of poison, a dark prince I refuse to marry. He thinks I'll accept my fate while I plan to rewrite it. And in my story, Juliet doesn't die, but Romeo, he perishes. I filled a little baggie, and then they're like half folded or whatever, and then we're gonna stick this in the jar so that way we can keep them separate from the rest of them so I don't accidentally re-pick. To go down the list of our books that we have. Alright, our 2 physical books that aren't offered on Kindle Unlimited. We chose The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. These next 4 books are books that I have physically, but are offered on Kindle Unlimited, so most likely I will be reading them through Kindle Unlimited. We chose Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alex Feeney, and we chose A Deal with the Delph King. A Deal with the Elf King. Let me try that again. A Deal with the Elf King by Elise Kova. And then the rest of the books I'm just going to put on the screen here for you. We chose A Court of the Vampire Queen by Katie Roberts and Sanctuary of the Shadow by Aurora Asher. Next, these are just books that are offered on Kindle Unlimited that I do not have physically whatsoever. A Bargain with the Fae King by Megan Van Dyke. God of Malice by Rena Kent. Curse of Shadows and Thorns by L.J. Andrews. And My Dark Romeo by Parker S. Huntington. Those are all of my books for the month of May, and I really want to push myself to try to at least read 5 of these. If I can at least read 5, that'd be nice. That'd be solid. Solid. I forget how to do my outro. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you like what you see, do all of the YouTube things you know how to do. I hope to see you in the next one, and I will see you in a bit.